little box for the good brushes, eh? So you got access to your brushes. You know, in truth, I use these ones a lot. These are just those cheap, you buy them like you get 10 in a pack, eh? 1/4-inch brushes. I get those from the hardware store, eh? The bulk section. They're really good. Anyways, I'm using a, I don't know, cheap sable hair. Would have came out of a paint by number set or something. So, questions and answers. I wonder what time I'm at on this. Don't want to do these in the middle of it, but anyways, my goop recipe, and that's a trial and error type thingy, eh? You can make it as thick as you want by adding more plaster, or you can make it kind of a little bit more rubbery, thicker by adding a little bit more caulking. You can make it a little bit more thin, slurry-ish by, you know, not adding as much water and just keeping the, you know, the glue and the caulking together. You know, I just kind of give you the basics, and then you got to kind of experiment depending on what you're coating and, you know, what you're using it for type thingy. You know, like if it's going to be an outdoor application, well then you need, you know, something that's going to be outdoor quality, UV ray type, you know, protecting. But anyways, for typical game train, I like it because it's tough. This one here, let me finish getting this wash on this. And I'll show you. Okay, here's a basic wash. Once it's dried, that'll look pretty good here. Anyways, we'll see. Almost leaning shit up against my new painted wall. Oh. Okay. Oh wow, this has got a friggin' hole in the bottom. Oh, that's stupid. Yeah, okay, so that's kind of one thing on the goop, eh? Okay, we're kind of doing two things at once here. The other one is Middle Eastern type buildings, eh? This is pretty easy type one to do. So on this one here, it's kind of like a goop mixture on there. It doesn't have to be thick, you just want to coat the foam, eh? So this was carved out of piece of foam like this, okay? And I just, you know, carved in the ledges for the roofs and stuff like that. And then I coated it with my goop mixture, okay, let that dry. Then I painted it with kind of a, you know, a yellowish browny, you know, like a maple sugary tan type yellow color, orangey yellow spice tan. I think that's probably what I used. No, I don't know. Anyways, kind of a yellowy color, and then I sprinkled sand on it. Can you see that? That's kind of fine sand. Now granted, I did buy the sand from a hobby store, okay, because I couldn't find this fine of sand here. Now you could probably run it through a grinder, like a mortar and pestle-y type thingy, eh? Not too sure. You'd have to have something really tough to be able to grind it. Something like, I don't know, like a good block of ceramic or something like that. Something that'd be really tough that would grind the sand, because it'd be pretty hard to get it down this fine scale. And then this roof here, you can see I've pretty much done the same thing on here. Okay, I've used a piece of square tubing and just, you know, indented tiling on it, and then just painted them like tiles. You know, that looks not bad. For, you know, quick and easy, this is done in 15 mil scale, okay? But, you know, for an Adobe-ish type building, that's fairly easy to do, you know? And you don't actually have to carve the walls in like I did here. I just kind of a geek and like doing it like that sometimes, okay? You can, you know, cut this flat and then glue something on. I mean, since you're coating it with with stuff anyways, right? All you have to do is take something that, like plaster or something, and fill up your little crack if you got some there, right? And then when you coat it, it'll be fine. So you don't have to cut in, you could stick on, you know what I mean? And it could be anything, it could be a piece of wood, because like I said, it's being coated, right? Same thing with these roofing tiles. Rather than pressing them in, you could do this really flat and then cut little squares and put them on, overlapping them. It would, or just, overlapping them would look good. Some of the roofing tiles over there, though, are kind of curved, and they look, they're curved, or they'll have a wave to them, like a pattern. Probably a clay is easiest for those. Straws work, like if you split a tube so that you've got your half tube, and then you cut that in 1-inch chunks, and you glue those on top of each other, overlapping them, and then in between the two curved chunks, glue in a piece of string, or a string, or a thin tube of something, or a toothpick or something like that, So, you know what I mean? Try to show you here. Could probably do one, but anyways. So if you'd have toothpicks there, and then your straw curved piece, like you've got your straws round, right? So you cut it in half this way, so you're just dealing with these curved pieces, an inch long or something like that, and then glue those on. Start them at the bottom, and then glue the next one on top of it halfway, and then halfway, all the way up to the top. Once you then goop that, cover that all with your goop stuff, it'll look like, tiles in there. It'll look pretty good. Okay, is this dry? Almost. Now remember what I was saying before about, let's see, about you have to check your stuff when you do a wash partway through before it is dried, okay? I gotta take my glasses off so I can see here. Can you see these hairs? I don't know if you can or not. Right in there, those hairs. Man, those will bug the piss out of you. You don't want those to dry in there, eh? And you also don't want that, that thin piece there where it's pooled. You don't want it kind of dried like that. So, anyways, always check your piece before it is fully dry. Make sure that you don't have stuff drying in there. This is why I wear old shit shirts, eh? Now, painting smock would probably be better. I do have one of those. I use it usually for gooping. But, I mean, I don't pay much for my clothing. I buy second-hand clothing so that I can treat it like this. I'm doing like this because I want a stiffer bristle, hey, for sweeping it off. Okay. Stupid hairs. Glasses back on so I can see. Okay. This is where we're at so far. So, and then being flat like this, you can just glue it right onto your wall section. It would look okay. Glue it on there, and then you could even border it with, more pieces of cardboard, right? Put it in there, and then you make your door sill around the outside, just on your wall. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I would just wanted to do one to show you, and we'll put it in the junk pile with everything else. I will put it up here. Whoa. So, I do want to work on this big 40K board type thing, but it's going to be kind of hard over the winter, so we'll just do little detailing stuff like this over the winter. And being that I'm I've only got really small area depths. Gonna have to keep things to a minimum, eh?